Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here on the second day of JiraCon 2022, and I hope you already have a great day in this conference. And greetings from northern part of Europe, from Latvia. And outside there is a nice, crisp autumn day next to the Baltic Sea, and it's perfect time to talk about reports. And I'm happy to talk about reports because I have worked in eazyBI as a support consultant for more than 7 years, and I have been talking and writing and teaching how to build reports all this time. Today, let's talk about sprint reports. But before that, we will start with a short introduction, what and why eazyBI. If we were in the same room, I would say, raise your hands who knows how to use eazyBI, and then I would adjust this part, but there is no such option, so I will just 5 minutes guide you through main basic concepts of eazyBI. Then I will tell you more what we have in eazyBI about sprint reports and how to adjust those sprint reports for very different teams, because we know there are a lot of teams out in the world. So let's begin. What and why eazyBI? First of all, what is eazyBI? eazyBI is a powerful analytics and reporting tool app for Jira and Confluence. And in eazyBI, reports are based on data that are imported from Jira or other data sources and created reports based on that. I say there are two important parts in this definition. eazyBI is business intelligence tool that allows you not only to create nice looking reports, but deeply explore your data. And with built-in Jira and Confluence, data import means that we know, with more than 10 years in Atlassian Community, we know how Jira and Confluence works, business process, data models, and customer needs. So we have created all the building blocks that are needed to create reports based on our knowledge and based on Jira and Confluence specifics. Also, we allow not only analyzing data on Jira programs like Jira Software or Jira Service Management, but also analyze data on your custom fields and on data from many most popular marketplace apps for test management, for time tracking, for other things. And that is not the limit. We also allow to import data from other data sources, like your other databases using SQLs, or from other applications using REST APIs, or upload data from data files. And all those years, eazyBI has been working on all Atlassian deployments for Jira Cloud, for Jira Server, and Jira Data Center. So we are everywhere you are. The functionality is the same. So eazyBI is available for everyone. Okay, this was this theoretical part. As I said, before I start talking about sprint reports specifically, I want to show you how eazyBI works with basic data, how the reports are created. Let's go there. So this is the main screen, the report builder in eazyBI. You can see here those gray blocks. Those are dimensions. What happens? When you, as I said, eazyBI reports are created based on Jira data, and those data are imported from Jira to eazyBI. And during that process, all data are reorganized in report building blocks. Dimensions, which are, you see those grayish, which are a list of values like projects, like you assignees, like issue types, issues themselves, and in measures, which are actually quantitative values. And report creation actually is combining those quantitative values by dimensions. Let's see a short video how a report that shows resolved issues and logged hours over time is created. So you always select some measures. In this case, you select resolved issues to show number of resolved issues, and hours spent to show total logged hours during total logged hours. And we will show it during time. Therefore, we select time dimension in 4 rows. All dimensions at the start are collapsed, so you see the total values, but you can always split them, expand them to lower level members, in this case, 2 months. You can limit this list because if it's too large, too long, it's very hard to understand it. And in this case, we limit it by years. So we will see only months from 2021 and resolved issues and logged hours in those periods. We can add some additional information like linear trend, it's calculated instantly, or cumulative sums, or other statistical values. And when we have created this basic part, we can switch to any of chart types, and then you can customize it based on your needs. As you see, there are 2 types of measures. One counts hours and 2 other counts issues. Therefore, we set those values on separate axes. And we usually suggest color coding values, issues resolved and related measures in one color, logged hours and related measures in another color. So the report would be more easy to perceive. We switch, we put area behind bars. And additionally, we can color code some extreme values, like top months when there were more issues resolved, with top issues resolved. So when you are happy with your report, you can save it. And the next time you will open them, probably already fresh imported data will be there, and they will be populated instantly. So as you could see, this video took less than 2 minutes to create a report that shows you valuable information, and it's pretty good looking, I would say. Okay. As I said previously, eazyBI is not a tool for just showing something. As I said, you can explore data. You can start from any interesting object you are see in your report and dig deeper. Let's go and see the next video. So you can click on the value and do drill through issues or drill across issues. It means you are drilling into data and look how they are split. And you can see that, okay, from those resolved issues, bugs and stories were majority. But you can focus on a specific hour spent, for instance, and see how those logged hours are split by workdays, by weekdays. Which weekday is the most intensive, or there are some hours logged on Sundays. And it's suspicious, right? Therefore, you can drill through work logs and see who was working on Sundays, and you can see the list. But you can start thinking, why those people work on Sundays? Let's check their priority. Okay, highest issues, that's great. But why they worked on lowest issues? And then you can go through those issues and actually go directly to Jira and see the description, the comments, and all the information you need to understand why. So in such a way, from a very simple report, not very simple, but from a report with a high level information, you could get a different information in a few seconds. How the resolved issues were split, who was logging hours on Sundays, and what kind of issues there were, and go and get to that particular issue, who were the one who was working on this Sunday. So this is how eazyBI works, how you create reports and how you explore your data. As I said, this is not, we are not talking about sprints, but sprints will be very, very similar, therefore the same actually. Therefore, I wanted to show you this process. So what else is very valuable in eazyBI? We have a lot of sample reports. and we will go through sprint sample reports in the demonstration part. And we also have dashboards where we collect those sample reports, not sample reports, but reports, and you can see them in our demonstration account. I will show you later. But this is a very good point where to start, especially in case of sprints. Additionally, you can create calculations to extend eazyBI possibilities to do more than you can do with standard calculations and drag and drop options. But this is, you can start pretty simple, and go deeper if you want to, if you need to expand your experience with eazyBI or do more reporting stuff. So last but not least about eazyBI is report sharing. We, in our company, we deeply believe that sharing indeed is caring, and sharing your knowledge is caring, and sharing information is caring about your teammates, to be on the same page all the time. So there are several ways how you share those reports. You can share them on Jira dashboards, put directly and see them there. You can subscribe to get eazyBI report collections or dashboards in your emails. You can put them on wallboards if you use monitors or large screens in your office room and you want to see them on those screens. And if you also have eazyBI for Confluence app, you can publish them on Confluence page. And then they will be still fully interactive, as I showed you, that you can drill through issues, etc., etc. You can do that even if they are published on Jira dashboards on Confluence pages. And also, as I said, we believe in sharing also in a knowledge area. Therefore, we have created a demonstration account where we have collected very lot reports that you are able to go there and see and inspire from there and copy them later. I will show that in demonstration part as well. So it was fast forward about basic things about eazyBI. And now we move to sprint reports. All the principles how to create reports are the same. You are combining measures, dimensions, and use all the options to create trend lines, to drill into data. And yeah, but there are, of course, something specific about sprints and measures. Let's see that. So first of all, there are not majority, but there are a lot of new measures created specifically for sprint data analysis. They are over the top of regular measures because, well, you know that analyzing sprint data is not so easy. When you ask how many issues were in sprint, you actually usually have to think, what issues do I want to count? Committed issues, or resolved issues, or added later, or completed? At what moment you want to analyze this information? Because sprint scope can change, issues can be added and removed, story points can be changed, and all the changing information asks you to analyze this information more carefully. Therefore, we have a set of sprint scope measures. We call them sprint scope measures. They are specifically created to show a relation between sprint and issue changes, sprint and story point changes. Okay, and also, usually if you use Jira software, you would get dimensions related to sprints and epic links if you use epics and stories. So those are two additional dimensions to the set of dimensions. But as you will see it later, that the measures and the dimensions can be used together with all standard dimensions and measures. The second thing we provide you when you import data from Jira software, we provide you with sprint sample reports. They are this is a set of most popular sprint reports imported into eazyBI. They are standard sprint-related reports, which are very popular, as well as some additional reports that gives insights from different angles. So I hope that you all know all the sprint standard reports like sprint velocity report, sprint story points, sprint story points burn down, and sprint report. And additionally, we have added the story points balance by sprint, sprint issues by status category at sprint end, and sprint completed of committed story points. It was added during the last eazyBI version. Okay, let's go through those sample reports just to remind you or introduce you with them. They are available, as I said, for using out of the box. As soon as you import data from Jira software, those reports appear in your eazyBI report library. So, sprint velocity chart. As you can see, there are two main values: committed story points and completed story points, as well as we have added a running story points velocity for last 5 sprints to show you, based on these story points completed metrics, the average of this value over last 5 sprints, and looking from each every sprint back. The second is sprint story points burn down. This report contains information about story points resolved and story points remaining and how they correlate. Additionally, these have actual linear trend line of resolved issues during the sprint and ideal guideline, how fast the story points must be resolved to burn the sprint scope. So this report is valuable during actual or current sprint, so you can see how things are going during this sprint. And sprint issues report shows a list of issues on a sprint level. So this is for one particular sprint, and shows that which issues and with how many story points were included in the sprint and how, whether they were committed or added later or removed later. Either they have been completed or just not completed at the sprint end. So this is a very good report for understanding how issues were added, removed from the sprint for each particular issue. So those were reports that you can find also, something similar you can find also in Jira, in Jira software reports. And that's great because you can look on those reports, and eazyBI reports allows you to dig deeper in those numbers and understand whys and what, and do some exploration work. Okay, as I said, we have added a few more reports because, added a few more reports to look on the same sprint information from a bit different angle. Balance report shows how story points were added to the sprint, either committed or added later, or added story points within the same issues, and how they left the sprint. Were they removed during the sprint, completed, or not completed? So with additional commitment change line. So this gives you an information how much your sprint scope changes during the sprint, visual information. One more quite simple but usable report is sprint issues by status category at sprint end. So when you closing your sprint and you haven't removed those issues before that, then you can see how many of issues were in done statuses, how many of them were in progress, and probably in to-do statuses. Then you can see the situation at the sprint end. The latest newcomer is story points completed of committed to show the fulfillment of your commitment. They are not counted later added story points or changed story points, but from that, what was promised, what was completed or not completed later. So those are sample reports you will have in your eazyBI instance if you will import Jira software data and you are using sprints and story points in your Jira. Of course, if you do not have story points, if you do not use them, then they won't be showed in this. Then those reports won't be available, of course. Okay. Now we have to move and talk about sprint reports for different teams. So team is a very popular word, and sometimes it's very hard to understand what is team. And therefore I asked a Cambridge dictionary, what is team? And it answered me that team is people working together as a group in order to achieve something. And what is not defined, because it differs from team to team. Size of the team, workload organization, what is the team goal, what should be achieved, how to measure this achievement. So teams are very different. And therefore reports also must be different. And what kind of things can differ? Different ways how to analyze sprint scope. Some use story points, some count issues, some use time tracking. There may be some custom fields specifically instead of story points. So there are different ways how to analyze sprint scope. Teams in Jira can also be defined differently. How you distinguish your team by a project. This is I guess this is most popular way. A project is a team, or a user group is a team, or you have a specific custom field team, which defines the team, or you have a label for issues that says that this issue is a part of is work for some specific team. There can be different ways how to define that. And also the way how teams work with sprints is very different. Usual case is one team works with one single sprint at the time. But I have been working with teams that works with multiple sprints. So you have a department where there are like 10 parallel sprints, and department is your team in a higher level, and you want to report on this team. Or I have been working as a team member when several teams worked on a single sprint, and we had to find which issues are for me, for my team, and which issues are for another team, but the sprint was the same. And sometimes you work without sprints because sprints are not the only way how to work in an agile way. And usually questions might be general, like in each project, are we on track? Are we progressing over time? What are our bottlenecks? How to address them? But the way how to ask them depends on your team specifics. And therefore, do not invent a wheel, adjust reports, and you have to adjust those reports, because if they are just standard reports, you can't answer your specific questions or address your specific team needs. So my suggestion, start with standard reports. I showed you, explore eazyBI demonstration reports, create custom reports using those patterns, and create your own reports. Now let's do a short demonstration how to adjust those reports and where to find demonstration account. I switched to eazyBI demonstration account. You can find it. Here's my mouse. I find my mouse. So you can write in eazyBI demonstration account and Google it, and you will find that. So, and then go to dashboards, and there are multiple dashboards for different needs. But if you are interested in sprints, then you would use one of those. So that's for later. Let's start with few adjustments or how we use velocity and sprint reports and burn downs to adjust to your team needs. So this is velocity chart, the same velocity chart, but in our demonstration account, we have added one more measure, which is available for you if you go to this demonstration account, and you can copy it and use it for you. We have added simple information about versions, fixed versions, when you have released a version. So in that case, you can see this sprint information, all this sprint information you have in this sample report together with additional line for version releases. There is just a measure here we have added and created for you in demonstration account. You can copy the code and create your own measure and add to your own reports. So usually, as I said, these sprint reports are the same way usable as eazyBI reports. So you can drill through issues. Let's say we have sprint 33, and I want to see which issues why the completed issues are more than promised. I can, of course, drill through issues and see the list of issues and go to Jira and see one by one. Another thing I can do, I can open my sample sprint report. As I said, this list of sprints, select the sprint I'm interested in this sprint 33, and you can get a list of all the issues which were committed, added, completed, not completed. And now we can see that later that committed, of course, where we can add total of rows. Committed, of course, were 21 story points, but they were added 3 story points, and from them, 3 were not completed and 3 were completed. Therefore, completed issues are more than committed. So using another report together in your mind together with this velocity report gives you additional information. What else? As I said, you can count issues by story points, count your workload in story points, but you can count it differently as well. You can count issues. Let's find a similar issue, and in Agile part, in those measures, if you look closer, you can see that we have a set of sprint scope measures related to story points. And then we have set of sprint scope measures related to issues, not story points. So the same as story points, we have issues, measures with issues, completed and not completed. Let's see what we can see. We can see that new issues appear in the sprint list, and you can start thinking, why? I know, therefore I can say that you can add issue type here and see that, yes, there are bugs, and bugs doesn't have story points. Therefore, to see the total situation for the sprint, you can use sprint issues scope measures instead of sprint committed measures. Or you can add issue type, not all standard issue types, but specifically bugs. And then you will see that there are only values in those measures. So we hide all empty rows and columns, and now we see a totally different set of issues for the same sprint if you look on issues level, not on story points level. So regardless if you use story points or not, both options are usable and they answer different questions. And the same, if we look, sorry, I have scrolled down. In the same way, we can open standard story points burn down and create a similar issues burn down in sprint. And as you can see, if we focus on April 13, there is resolved one issue and the line is not dropping. And if we look here on the same date on the story points, when we look on story points are resolved and the remaining story points is growing, which is like not very like you wouldn't expect that. But actually you can go to this report, open the table view and see what happens in this 13 April and add some of measures. Probably there were something added, story points added or issues added. And yes, we can see that there were one issue added, one issue resolved. Therefore, this sprint issues burn down didn't change. So one added, one removed, but story points were different. Therefore, 2 story points were added to the remaining estimate. So in such a way, using different approaches and going deeper in the report, you can find additional information without doing anything extra. And similar situation, if you are using time instead of story points or issues, we have created in our demonstration account a similar ways how to see this information. You can use hours spent as result instead of result story points, and remaining estimates hour history, which we are importing from Jira, instead of remaining story points, and draw guideline how fast the estimated hours should drop to fulfill the scope of the sprint. So again, you can use standard metrics, which are hours spent. This comes from logged hours, or remaining estimated hours history also comes from logged hours. You are using together with sprints and projects and time. So the standard metrics and sprint metrics and dimensions they do work together. Yeah, yes, you have to learn through documentation where there are some differences, but in general, all the dimensions and measures can be used together in one report. So I just created before the meeting, before the demonstration part, where I did just that. I created the report with logged hours, with story points resolved, and to show some correlations, how fast we resolve story points and how many hours we log during the process. So you can see this correlation in those areas. Yeah, what else? We talked about, let's see, another standard report, sample report, story point balance by sprints. And as I said, you can use different ways how to see how to differentiate your team. You can use project dimension here to filter by project, or you can use, for instance, label instead. So I select label app, and from all projects. So now I can see all the sprints which are related to this label app one, which is probably a team that works with app one from different projects. So you can see this information together. So as you can see, you can adjust your sample sprint reports, adding filters, changing measures, adding, combining measures, sprint metrics with standard metrics to create to adjust those reports and create your own project reports. So few words what you can find also in our demonstration account. There are cases when you work, when the team works on multiple sprints. There is one solution available in demonstration account where you can combine those sprints in cycles, as you can see, closed sprints from 3 boards with the same name. They are parallel sprints. They were calculated together, and all those reports shows all the standard reporting, let's say sprint story points burn down for this sprint cycle or multiple sprints together. So the total cumulative hours on those sprints, total story points resolved over those sprints, etc., etc. So if you have the situation that you want to analyze multiple sprints, you can check this dashboard. And there is additional option, which is described in our documentation, sprint reports for sprint week cycles, the situation with parallel sprints, that you can, this is also a standard report, velocity chart, but this is created for sprints which are starting at the same time and ending at the same time. And sprints are grouped. We will switch to table. We do not lose anything. We can always switch back to bar, but just to easier to see, we have grouped those sprints by cycles, and you can see that there are sprints with the same start date grouped in cycles, and you can create reports based on that. And that is described in this documentation, sprints defined by sprints cycles, how to import this information and how to define that. In the demonstration account, you can see also dashboard for Kanban, popular reports, with work in progress changes, with cumulative flow diagram for selected period, etc., etc., etc. So how to get this information to your instance? There in the dashboard, in this demonstration account, and also in your Jira, there is export definition. Export definition, copy that, copy to clipboard. This definition contains only a structure of report, of all those reports and all the measures used here. This this definition doesn't contain any data. You can take that, go back to your Jira, to your eazyBI. I'm opening my eazyBI, it's my private eazyBI. Go to dashboards, create a new dashboard, and import this definition. I paste it and I import it. And during the process, all those reports are created here. There is information that everything was correct. And now this information is shown on my data in my Jira instance, but those same reports with all those metrics used there. And then of course you can use anything, all of those metrics you can use in your own reports. So if you remember something from today's speech, remember that we have sample reports, which are very valuable. You can adjust them, add dimensions to filter, change metrics. And we have demonstration account with several dashboards specifically created for sprint related topics. And you can always export them and transfer to your instance. So just to wrap up, there is information in my slides where to find all those reports I showed you today. And to wrap up, explore samples, know your team, know what do you want to measure, how do you want to measure, and adjust demonstration reports, sample reports, and create your custom reports based on those patterns or from scratch. So thank you. This was it, and no time for questions. I hope we have some 5 minutes still. Martin?
Yeah, hello everyone. I hope you liked the presentation as much as I did. Really, it's always inspiring to listen about sprints and how you can analyze from different viewpoints. There were not that many questions on the chat. Perhaps we could spend this time to remind ourselves how easy it is to find the documentation page from the product and where we can find these demonstration accounts in case we want to explore the sample reports later after the presentation. If you could just repeat that, that would be great.
Yes, yes. So you can go to your Jira or demonstration Jira, and there is on the right upper corner, there is help button. And from there, you can always go to documentation. Documentation on here is a section learn more. And learn more section is your gateway to the more information about eazyBI. First of all, there is a list of all available demonstration account reports, or there are a list of to all dashboards I showed you. You can go there, Kanban reports, and voila, we are opening the same page we were before. So this is one way how to find. As I showed you already, you can just write in eazyBI demonstration account. And also you can find something valuable, learn eazyBI through examples, and you can see there are some reports described. Learn through sample reports, there are described sample Jira software reports I talked to you about today. So, and we have a training videos on specific topics or about how to use eazyBI. There is total 1 hour of basic training, and there are more in training videos on specific topics. So do I forgot something?
No, it was great. It was the things I wanted to hear, actually. I just wanted to remind everyone that attended to this webinar that we are in the booth as well for JiraCon. So if you find questions that you forgot to ask during the presentation, please join our booth and ask these questions there, and we will be happy to help you and explain how this works and how eazyBI can be useful for your teams and your organizations. Because we know for sure that there are some things that you cannot find answers to when using just Jira reporting. eazyBI is knowing the data model very well, and then we can build an extra reports so you can know answers to your questions. So yeah, that was really great presentation. Since there are not that many questions, I would say thank you for joining this presentation, and hopefully Ilze can close this session by final words.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. Yes, come to our booth, and if you find questions later, send us email, support@eazybi.com, or find like-minded people in eazyBI community page, community.eazybi.com. And yeah, as we used to say, if you have questions, then you will definitely find the answer using eazyBI. Thank you very much, and have a nice second part of the JiraCon 2022. I hope you to see soon in the booth, in the email, or in the next event. Bye.
Bye.